Golf cart project time. This is going to be a unique one, I guarantee you. You won't see this in many golf carts. So as you're well aware, our beautiful golf cart, I'm constantly upgrading, and today's no exception. Today we're putting a subwoofer in. So why this particular subwoofer here? Ignore the brand. So my entire audio system I've ever put on any outdoor vehicle ever has been Pile. I like Pile's waterproof speakers and radios. I've even done a Pile subwoofer on my boat. I thought about doing a Pile one on this. I've seen Amazon say it's had many returns and bad reviews. So I thought, all right, they had this one on sale, and the speaker has an LED on it. It's like, hey, $100. Let's try this one out and see how it goes. So here's what we're gonna do for the project. Originally, I wanted to put it right on this, but not enough clearance here with this closed. All these little things run into it. Even if I put it here, couldn't mount it because of these things here. So it's a nice piece of wood to mount to though. So this seat in the rear has only plastic on the bottom, plus I would lose that little compartment. There's a compartment under this seat. Flip it open, you can put like cooler access right here. So we had a subwoofer under that, we would lose that ability. So instead, I'm gonna put it under the driver's seat. And it's actually not gonna be so bad. It's gonna mount under here, and I'm gonna run it down this pole here. I'm gonna put it under this mat towards the middle, because under here there's already a hole in the floor, and that's just the mat. The cable's gonna run up under there, and then from there run to this hole, run it through here, and then I can send audio that way and power that way. The kit comes with the bare minimum for what you need for the install. My biggest complaint though is the negative cable they give you. Look at this dinky little, like 2 foot long cable. So what they're thinking is this is going to go in a car. In a car, you can mount this wherever you want, and then run it right to one of the bolts that hold the seat down, probably, or something, or hold a seatbelt down or something, and that grounds to the car. Golf cart's a little bit different. I want to ground it back to the battery in this case. I'm actually going to ground it to my fuse box I have built in for my 12-volt system. This only uses 15 amps, so I run off that fuse box no problem. I can use the existing or the provided power cable. I don't need to use their fuse because I'm going to fuse it myself. And then fortunately, I've got plenty of my own boat quality cable. It's more than strong enough for our system here. This is 14 gauge. It's plenty thick here for the ground. We're doing fine. You can do a 12 gauge, a 10 gauge, 8 gauge, get a little larger gauge. You don't want to get too big because at a certain point it won't fit on the battery. See, it screws in here. I think the biggest these can hold is like an 8 gauge. So just kind of be careful when you set that up. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to mount this to the bottom of the chairs. Cool. And you'll see it's got places to install the mounts. It comes with these little brackets. We're going to put these on here first, and then I'm going to place it under the seat. I'm going to have something hold it up right where I want it, and then I'm going to screw it into place, and I'll walk through that. And they're mounted. And surprisingly, this came from China. All the screws are there, and it actually got some decent equipment on this one. I'm surprised at the quality of some of the metal from this Chinese product. Normally it's I'm using my own stuff. In this case, I may not need to. You get some decent screws here. I might use something a little bit more substantial, but I don't want to use anything crazy like this screw here, which might go up to the seat and poke me in the butt whenever I sit down. So stay kind of calm. These might be just what we need there. Looks good. So now I'm going to get this where I want it. All right, let me show you what I did here. I just got a pair of jack stands holding this up. You'll find something that's the right height. Now I can work and get it centered and start drilling my holes. All I'm going to do is take my handy Black & Decker and drill straight up this screw into that bracket. Let's do it. I got the one mounted. I can relocate this jack stand and give me access to that one. That's why I had this jack stand kind of offset here, so I can reach the first screw hole. And as I go along, I'll move the jack stands around, and give me access to the next hole. All right, 2 are down. Over there, 2 to go. And I don't need that jack stand anymore because it's holding its own weight halfway now. Let's get the next 2 screws in. And it's mounted. No vibration. I can't move it. A couple considerations on your mounting location. Now, I've got this, you know, my upholstery here. That's going to work as a very, very nice vibration dampener. So you get the music without the you get on some cars when they place a subwoofer, or if they attach it right to the metal. Have something soft that can absorb and take the vibration, so you got a nice clean subwoofer sound. You don't want just like from your subwoofer hitting something. So have some sort of soft material, rubber washer or something, sound dampening. This will work really well. My upholstery. If I ever need to replace the upholstery, I can just take those 4 screws out and this will come right out. Piece of cake. Time to go fishing. So I've actually got a fishing rod designed for running through walls. You might use something similar. But fish once, pull once, all the cable at the same time. And I'll show you what I mean here. So again, for my layout, I'm gonna go under the mat right here. Cable's just gonna run under the mat to the hole that sits right here. So I can use this fish rod, I can push it in and then just pull the cables out in one shot. So again, this mat just kind of lifts up. I can fish from the bottom and bring it this way. And that way, something nice and stiff. You can use a coat hanger, you can use a variety of things. Is doing the work through the mat for you. And then you use some electrical tape, tie it off, and I'll walk that one and pull it through. So I'll show you what I mean. Oh, starting down here, just pushing this in like that. And I can feel it already hit the other side. And I should be able to bring it up right there through that gap. I got it through. Use my little screwdriver to help lift this up. This is where the cables will come out, and they'll come out right here. I'll have it nice and flat and flush. This right here, you won't even see them. I'm going to show you some of the choice upgrades I'm doing here. So here's the existing ground cable. Mostly insulation. It's kind of pathetic in there. So I got this guy. Whoa, so much thicker, so much better. I'm going to use the existing power cable. It's sufficient. And then they gave us this comm cable, which tells the subwoofer to turn off and on. I've got a nice one from another project. It's thicker, more durable. So when your wife says don't hold on to those extra wires, don't listen to her. You don't need that kind of energy in your life. Real short 8-inch pull here, but I got it wrapped pretty good. Do it once. No hanging edges, so I'll go to feed it right there. I'll lift this, pull from the side, and those cables go right down that hole like they need to go. And here's my 4 holes. I got my signal back to the radio. I've got my 12 volt in. I've got my ground. And I've got my communication cable between the radio and the subwoofer. These are only 4 cables you need if your head unit, which mine does, has the RF outs for a subwoofer. At the end of the video, I'll show you something you can get if your radio doesn't have that. And I've got it through the hole. Now I'm just going to pull it out until I just had the very ends right here, and I'll wrap it all up, and I can plug it all in right now. I'll show you how to do that. Depending on your model, this one has Phillips head here. Some might have Allen wrenches, might come with it. So all we're going to do is we're going to strip our ground, our power, and our signal cables down, and we're going to put them into the matching. You see where it says 12 volt? It's upside down because, yeah, here you go. So it says 12 volt. 12 volt, and then it has REM, which is the signal going back to the RF cable. Just plug straight in. You can see here this model has, if you're going to use a high in gain, this is using low end. We're going to use low end straight across, and we're going to put them all in here. And here we go. All right, time for tips and tricks. This is a cable I had sitting around. You can see out in the beach here, everything rusts, or in this case corrodes, because copper doesn't rust, it corrodes, and it's not the cleanest thing. So I cut off a little bit. Got me down some nice, clean, pretty copper. That's what you want to use in this project. All right, we got them all installed. We're going to bundle them together and just run them over to here. Something I suggest is you can take the cables and you can actually attach something, use something like this, hold them up here so they don't droop. If you don't have something like that, you can even use something like a washer with a soft side. Just make sure you don't damage the cable when you drill it in. But these are great for holding up cables to something like that. I'm going to share what we got going on here. So run up to this, tied to this. I have it starting on this side, and then I work down to the side so it comes in nice and flush when it runs in there. I don't want to start the side up here, I want to start in the back. A couple reasons. This, I can tie it off here. And if you got like munchkins that kick all the time, it leaves this back side here, you know, kickable. So their feet aren't grabbing, there's less cable for them to grab over there. Again, these are durable cables, and it's like if you get it zip tied down well, they won't be able to affect it. I'm gonna put it through that hole, come in through the support strut, keep under the control arms here, and then I'm gonna have to do a little right here, kind of like they did over there in the previous one, because there's no pass through. And here I can send the signal that way and power that way. All right, everything pulled out, everything gone through. You see my signals going that way, and I started my power going this way. I'm gonna start zip tying this up high. Make sure it's nice and well protected, since I don't have a sleeve for this. You can use these kind of sleeves, these are nice. But these cables are pretty durable. I'm not worried about it. We're not like going off-road with this thing or anything. Worst case, some salt water might splash up on it. I think it'll be fine. So I'm gonna zip tie it down and secure it. Cool. Running my cable along, keep it nice and zip tied, nice and tight. I've got my existing speaker cables. I can use those to follow up to where my radio is going to be. So it takes the guesswork out, which penetration to use. Got our radio out. You're going to need the blue signal cable, the REM cable as they call it. And if you have RCA outs, that's all your subwoofer needs. If for whatever reason your stereo doesn't have RCA outs, there's an accessory this actually came with. I don't need it. Speaker level converter. It can take the highs that you got and convert them down to the RCA signal. So I've used these before. I'm not a big fan of these. You know, they're just not great. But that's fine. If you're out of options, this is definitely something you can try out. Then you run, or you can just have a radio that has the RCA outs. But this basically takes this cable at the bottom here, taps into a speaker wire, plugs into this, and then it brings the signal out. So not a great solution. That's okay. We're going to use the RCA outs here. There's our two cables. I'm just going to plug this into the RF out here and splice that into that. Some of these might just have a place to plug it in, but I'm just going to use a simple splice. I've got plenty of low voltage splicers. I'll get that set up and I'll show you how to do that. Since we're tying into an existing fuse panel, I'm just going to put some of these on these cables here and tie them in the box. My 12 volt system, you can see it's got a relay there. It's switched with the ignition. So it'll actually turn off the entire system when the ignition turns off. So in my case, I don't have to use the remote wire. I can leave the subwoofer in the on position, and whenever the system turns on, the subwoofer turns on. So there's many ways you can do this. The reason why you have a system that uses the remote cable is if you have an always on to your radio, like for memory, like a small, but you don't want the subwoofer always on. You want the subwoofer on when the radio turns on. There's a variety of ways to do this, but since I have a switched 12 volt system, I'm just going to use that feature. The proper crimping tool, a lighter, and a little shrink wrap. You have a very nice looking installation there. Very clean and protected. Got them on the fuse box. I'll have to see if I can find my stickers. Put like a subwoofer marker on that second sticker there so I know which one it is. I'm going to use the existing 15 amp fuse that came with the system. Now you see where it says auto on off next to that red light there. That's where you decide whether to use the REM or not. I went ahead and ran the cable because some systems may be different, but in the future if I change the radio out to an REM system, I wanted to have the cable run anyway. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate the remote wire, how to splice it using one of these things. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to twist this till it's nice and thin. Let me show you. Cool, nice and thin. We're going to do the same thing on the blue cable coming from the subwoofer, and we're going to slide both ends into this. We'll do one at a time, and we'll crimp down using our crimping tool. And now you have a nice clean splice. You can wrap it in electrical tape if you want to make it a little bit stronger and add some waterproofing. Let's turn her on. Boop. Do a Bluetooth, pick out a song. Okay, let's do this song, a little bassy. Ooh. Yeah. So let me stop that before I get demonetized, as they say. Cool. So the last step is, while playing your music, take a small screwdriver and you're gonna adjust the 3 gains down here until it sounds just the way you like it. And there's the main reason I bought this subwoofer, because it has an LED circle. I'm not a fan of the spider, but yeah, whatever. But you see how it blends well with my existing pile. Blue light speakers. I like the blue, because it matches the blue. Pretty golf cart. Alright, this set is done. We are bumping, we are thumping, we are gonna go cruise down the beach side and draw all the attention. If I ever get a bachelor's night again, I might go cruise with some girls.
Take the girls out to the beach, trying out the new subwoofer with the golf cart. We got some goodies at the gas station. The girls, you like it? The boom boom? You happy, mama?